Welcome to Wealth Coffee Chats, folks, for your daily live updates. Get the most out of today's episode by participating in the chat. Make sure you ask some questions, be part of the conversation, have a bit of fun, grab a coffee or a tea, take some notes, and get ready to start your day, folks. Quick few housekeeping rules, though. No spamming, no advertising or self-promotion in the chat. That's not on. Be kind and respectful to everyone when participating. And most of all, have a good time. Real estate investing can be your biggest asset. It also can be your most expensive asset when it comes to getting it right or getting it wrong, folks. It can be time-consuming, stressful, and that's why here at Positive, we have what's called a 6-star team, a full-service team that provides integrated wealth and property investing solutions and services simply designed to help you progress towards your goal of passive income through your property portfolio, folks. Make sure you check out our other podcasts on the Positive Mentor Network. Not only is there Wealth Coffee Chats, there's the Urban Property Investor. Drops every Wednesday with straight talking investing strategies and lessons with Sam Saggers. Property Investor Tales. This is where our clients, you guys, share real life stories from property investing, hosted by some of our advisors and strategists. And that's done every fortnight, dropping every Monday. Wealth, Wine and Wisdom, folks, that debriefs the week that was in the world of finance and property, hosted by yours truly, Jason Witten and Andy Fenton on Fridays. Hey, good morning, folks.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat.
Hope you're well, folks, wherever you are.
There it is, team. Morning. Morning, wherever you're tuning in from today.
Early bird gets the worm, they say. Here at Positive, we offer a 6-star team. It's a team that help you at every stage of your wealth creation journey.
There it is. Morning, everyone. Welcome along to another episode, another session. Wealth Coffee Chats, Property Management Edition. Hey, today's Wednesday, the 30th of July. Hope you're well, wherever you're tuning in from. Like I have my cup of coffee. Hope you got yours as well. So thanks for tuning in, whether you're here live or watching on replay. Thanks for coming along and playing full out. So today, if you are new and you haven't seen me around before, Wealth Coffee Chats, Property Management Editions on Wednesday. So we take over at 8:10. We talk about the holding phase of your investment journey, wherever you may be. And what we do is we talk about how do we, as a team, with your property managers, help you hold that real estate for a longer period of time working alongside your 6-star team. And so part of that stuff comes down to your property manager. I do believe they're your eyes and ears on the ground. A lot of the investors I work with have never seen their property. So it's super important to get this right. So that's me. My name's Cass. This is who I am. And 14 years, I think, in the industry now for property management specifically. So learned a thing or two, learned what to do, learned what not to do. And certainly part of why I come here every Wednesday is to share a bit of that insight. And if you know me, you know I like to bring a story or two. And certainly I've got a doozy today with what legislation is and then what actually happens out there in the marketplace with real estate agents and investors. So today's a little bit about, hey, here's what we should be doing. Here's the framework, and here's what not to do. And I'll give you a real life example. So that's me, team, for our sessions on a Wednesday. I love the banter. So any questions, commentary, pop it in the chat for me. The more you guys chat back, the more energy it gives me. So please, along with that. So morning, Chris. Yes, he's got his cup of coffee. Well done. Great to see you, Chris. Catch up sometime soon, I am sure. So today, I want to show you guys or talk to you guys about how four different property management groups actually landed themselves and their clients in strife with consumer affairs. Now, if you don't know what consumer affairs is, it's the relevant body down in Victoria. And so each state and territory will have something similar. In Queensland, we've got like the RTA. And basically, they provide some guidelines and govern and, monitor and measure whether legislation is being adhered to. And in this case, and I've been talking about it for probably like 2 years now, they've sent out a task force out there to the marketplace to assess whether properties are meeting minimum standards. They are sending a task force out in relation to rent bidding and things like that, and as per legislation, which is cool. I think the the more people that follow the process, follow the game, that I think landlords and tenants will win long term anyway. But hey, today's story is about 4 groups that basically didn't adhere to anything, whether it's a lack of care or lack of education, maybe a combination of the both. Hey, here's how they got themselves in trouble. So when it comes to consumer affairs, and we're talking Victoria today, so if you've got a property in Victoria, pop a yes in the chat for me. That'd be really good to know that I'm talking sense. But in Victoria, right, when you advertise a property for rent, and I've got my trusty iPad with some notes here, right? When you advertise a rental property in Victoria, you must display a fixed price and cannot use a price range or encourage rent bidding. That is what it says, team. I'm not making this up, right? You must display a fixed price and cannot use a price range or encourage rental bidding. Now, this is very similar in other states and territories, but we're focusing on Victoria today. This means any advertisement or offer on a property for rent must include a specific weekly rental price, right? Fixed price advertisement must clearly state that, right? No price ranges, no 500 to 550, no 600 to 675, team. No price ranges, right? This is not a price guide on a property for sale. This is a rental property, right? We cannot encourage or solicit any rental bidding. You are prohibited from encouraging or accepting rental bids, which means you cannot solicit any offers of rent higher than the advertised price or encourage renters to outbid each other. Right, if you see an advertisement that violates these rules, you can report it to Consumer Affairs Victoria. Well, tell you what, the Consumer Affairs Task Force, they beat the renters to it. Renters didn't have to complain because Consumer Affairs came down like a ton of bricks anyway. So that is the rules, team. That is the rules, right? We know this. Now, this has been, Chris says, yes, awesome. It's doing very well too, which is great, Chris. And it's not, I just punched in Google and I found it, right? Now, property management groups, my take on why these 4 property managers got themselves and got the landlords in trouble in a bit of attention from Consumer Affairs is, number one, a lack of education. There's a lack of training in the industry. And so what I would say to you guys today is you want to know what's under the hood, right? I have my own sort of training program. So does the team as well. We've got to keep on top of this because legislation and compliance is changing all the time. You're not going to know what these governments are going to do. So here's what these 4 groups did. Now, I'm not going to name the groups. I don't need to. The article does that for me. I'm sure you guys can find the article if you really wanted to. But they landed in hot water after failing to advertise a rental price that was fixed for the properties that they had obviously on the market. Now, a number of the 4 actually pleaded guilty, right? Guilty to breaking Victoria's rental laws and after failing to advertise a fixed rental price, right? These properties were listed on realestate.com, domain.com, major portals. So it was very out in the public. Not going to name it. We'll skip those, skip who they are, but some big names in there, team, big names in there. Now, all the agencies contested obviously this, even though they pleaded guilty, but the result was that they received financial fines and infringements delivered by Consumer Affairs Victoria, and they were taken to court as a result. Now, I don't know about you, but I've got better things to do than 1, break the law, and then 2, put myself and the owners in court. So to me, it sounds ludicrous that this is actually going on. Now, what else does it say here? They warned, obviously, that when they delivered a rental range, right, the 5 to 550, the 6 to 675, what they were actually doing was actually promoting rent bidding, right? And this is where they've failed on a number of occasions. It is illegal to do that. Now, in Victoria, this law has been in place since 2021. So we're 4 years later and people are still doing it, right? And my train of thought goes, well, if the agent is willing to not get involved in training, not educate themselves, not educate their owners, or perhaps they're not even communicating with their owners, willing to put themselves in this position to get caught, in which case they did because they broke the law, what else is going on with the management of your property? That's the question I have. What else is going on? If they're willing to cut that corner, what other corners are they cutting, right? And this is why time and time again, we see poor tenant selection, poor leasing campaigns. At the end of the day, team, it's been outlawed since 2021. Why is it going on? Since 2021, more than 50 different property management groups in Victoria have been fined, right? More than 50. Now, I hope for you guys, wherever your properties are in Victoria, I hope your agency is not one of them, right? If it is, red flag, you need to do something about that, right? But ultimately, it's coming down to lack of education, potentially a lack of care, lack of communication and education to the landlord as well. And maybe us as investors, we get busy in our day jobs. We are investing a monetary amount into property managers to get these things sorted, right? When the basics isn't done, team, it sort of causes a bit of fuss, doesn't it? Gets me riled up, that's for sure. Because for you, here's what it means for you, right? Like I say, if they're willing to cut one corner, imagine what else they're doing in your property, right? I guarantee you, if I was to take over that file today, I'll find 3 more things, no problems. Now, what this ultimately means, when these agencies were going to market, they're putting price ranges, breaking the knowingly or unknowingly, breaking the law clearly and getting caught for it, it's actually detracting renters to your property. So what does that mean? If we put a campaign out there, it's not attractive to tenants, they don't want to see it, or they come through and they have a bad experience, or they're caught in a rent bidding situation. And most tenants are very intelligent teams, so they would have known what was going on, right? All the agent is doing in this scenario for you as a landlord is increasing your vacancy, right? And costing you dollars out of your pocket. That's all that's happening. That's the bottom line. And, unfortunately for them, and they're going to be out of pocket themselves now because they've got to pay a big fine to Consumer Affairs. So terrible strategy. Doesn't sound smart at all. The more I think about it. And so when I read this article, I was like, I've got to tell everyone on the Wealth Coffee Chats, don't do this, right? So if your outcome as an investor, and it is one of my focuses, is to reduce vacancy. I want to maximize my client's rent in the safest way, in the most legal way. We don't want to cut corners. We want to do it appropriately, but I want to do it for a 10, 15-year period, right? Sam Sagers talks about the 15-year rent growth plan. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not in here for 12 months, 24 months, and then going to jet. We want to do this to keep you safe and maximize your wealth over a long period of time when it comes to investing. At the end of the day, you want to help you guys hold that property for a long period of time, right? In this case, these guys are not doing that. They're creating frustration. They're creating stress. They're actually pushing tenants away from your property. It's costing you money. And like I say, now it's costing them money. So if you want lower vacancy, if you want to maximize your rent over a long period of time, sustainably, consistently, in the right legal way, don't do what these agents did, right? Don't break the law. So that's my rant today. If you want to find the article, just Google it. You'll find it. I'm sure I'll find another one shortly because, like I say, since 2021, this legislation's been in place and more than 50 agencies have been fined for doing it. And this is just Victoria, team. This is just Victoria. I'm sure if we lifted the hood on the other groups, we go from there. So Trini says time set up. Well, thankfully we've got a great team in Melbourne, which is great in Metro Melbourne. I won't go into some of these locations or where these other agents are operating in. But hey, if you're one of the property managers and you somehow see this content, please stop doing it. Follow the law and get educated. Chris says, this is why we pay good money for a property manager. Exactly. I think you, as the investor, you're investing some financial amount of money every week, every month, every year to have these things set up correctly, to have these things grow over a period of time, not to put you in more strife, not to be on the doorstep of Consumer Affairs and cop a fine. That's not why we do these things, But I suppose you've just got to be careful. You got to know what's under the hood of your property management group. So, team, that's my rant. I'll get off your screens. I'll let you enjoy the rest of your coffee, enjoy the rest of your morning and day for Wealth Coffee Chats. But hey, listen, if you're looking to minimize your vacancy and you want to know how to maximize your rents over a long period of time, sustainably, consistently, you want to know the 3P strategy that we implement, just comment below. Got a couple of spots before Friday if you need some help in that space. But that's what we're here for. Otherwise, I'll leave you guys to it. on a Wednesday. So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for playing full out in the chat. Love the energy, team. All right, you guys have a good day. See ya.
Thanks for watching another episode of Wealth Coffee Chat, folks. Make sure you like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you never miss a thing when we go live. Improve your portfolio and investing game, folks, with Wealth Coffee Chats live every morning at 8:10 each weekday. Make sure you join us. Previous episodes are also available wherever you get your podcasts, folks, as well as our other podcasts from the 6-Star team here at positivementor.com.au.